But I got it all, and it literally had everything in it, so I was able to just give that to him, which I think was a big thing, because he could look at all the medical side.
Yeah, context for everything.
But we were in there for less than half an hour, and he was like,
You've got...
these are symptoms that coincide and things with FND.
But in saying that, even though they say they got to go through an inordinate amount to get to the diagnosis, they didn't, because we had to pay for a specialist, which your sister helped out with.
So, yeah. I
Double
can't
blink,
even blink properly. Yeah, so, even when I went back to A&E in the June, I said, has it been logged that I'm due to see neurology? And they were like, it's not on the system.
Yeah.
So that was another step back. So they said, I'll re-refer you, blah, blah, blah. They couldn't do anything. They literally, I was there for like 5 minutes, and they were like, because of
the first time
they were like, there is physically nothing we can do other than prescribe me nerve
And
pain.
how does that play in your mind? Because obviously you're at a point now where you're thinking, this is something that's going to be plaguing me possibly every 2 weeks, where I could be back in A&E.
Well,
and is there any point in me coming in, because there's physically nothing they can do?
Yeah, so in my head now, I'm like, right, okay, so every time I have a moment, I'm still like at this point stupidly weak. Like I can't even get up. I hadn't gone upstairs yet. So it was like, do I bother? Do I bother contacting them and stuff? So in the meantime, I'd been back and forth to my GP, letting them know about the situation. And I said to them, oh, look, can you see on the system that I'm waiting to see the neurologist? And he was like, well, we can't see everything that the hospital can see, which I appreciate. But he was like, I can't see it.
Yeah.
And my sister was like, this is
stupid.
Bull-ass, complete and utter bull. So she very, very kindly paid for us to go private.
Yeah.
Which was literally the last day of the August.
And this is one of the symptoms of FND, is the brain fog and the speaking. So this conversation right now is going to have a massive effect on you later. I know you're going to be wiped out and tired.
Yeah, it's
taxing mentally or physically? Do you find that it wipes you out?
Mentally. But what got me was, we got into this private place, saw this neurologist, specialist in neurology, quite, he had every letter in the alphabet behind his name. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He was, so, we paid to see him. And he did every single test. Well, not every single test. He did every sort of movement with me that every other doctor had did, raising the arms, pushing, pulling. And I actually took all my notes. I got them printed off from the NHS, because I wanted to show him, because obviously they might not get access to the doctor's notes.
And is that something that you would recommend for people? Is that when they go into this, is to
definitely
either get your partner or someone to write this down? Write
it down, but also, like in Wales and England, there's a different system for the NHS. So in Wales, we had to email Cardiff and Vale and ask for full information about...
Get all your notes.
All my notes from the 2 occasions I was in hospital.
Yeah.
I had to send in proof of who I was because of the Data protection.
GP, PDDD. All those alphabets.
All those letters. All those alphabets, yeah. But I got it all, and it literally had everything in it. So I was able to just give that to him, which I think was a big thing, because he could look at all the medical side.
Yeah, context for everything.
But we were in there for less than half an hour. Yeah. And he was like, these are symptoms that coincide and things with FND. And I was like, oh. Now, prior to this, a friend had said she was diagnosed with FND, where she was losing power and weakness in her leg, and her one leg was constantly giving way. Yeah. So FND was another thing that was in my head, but because of Googling it, it was such a broad thing. I was like, no way have I got that.
Because it seemed like there was.
Oh my God, the symptoms and everything that you can get with FND is like
horrific.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, I've got it. Okay. And he said, normally you get FND due to trauma in your life, or if you've had a major accident in your life, sort of, if you've been in a car crash or something massively severe in your life.